Hello everybody, welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we did our Senate prediction a couple of days ago. Now we are going to do the governor's prediction. We have 36 races that we are going to fill out and we are going to predict. Obviously, we have Virginia and New Jersey both colored in because that is how these states voted last November. But we have 36 that are up this year, just 9 months from now, and we are going to fill these out in a minute. But first, I have to tell you guys about redeaglepolitics.com. If you want exclusive content, if you want access to the newsletter, all the exclusive videos and articles, and to join the Discord server, to join a community of over 100 people that are like-minded individuals, make sure you sign up for just 16 cents a day at redeaglepolitics.com. But maybe you can't. Maybe you're not that good with saving. Well, guess what? Noble Gold can help with that. Now, this year's going by fast. You're a year closer to retirement, but are your savings a year closer? If they're not and you're worried you won't make it, get in touch with Noble Gold about putting your precious metals in your IRA or 401k. You won't get hassled. They'll just lay out your options, and this month they're gifting a free 10th ounce solid gold American Eagle coin with any qualifying plan you start. Call 877-646-5347 or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Again, that's noblegoldinvestments.com. So here we go. Let's fill out this map. We're going to start off with the safe blue states, and then we're going to work our way down. So for the safe blue states, California, definitely that is a state that is going to be safe blue. It was safe blue in the recall election. It's probably going to be safe blue again, even though I wouldn't be surprised if it actually moves to the right since the recall election, because Elder was a very polarizing candidate. So California safe blue, Hawaii safe blue, New York safe blue, and Massachusetts because Baker is retiring and Democrats will likely win that seat by more than 10 points. So 10-8 so far. Now we have to fill out these seats that are safe Republican. We could start off with the state of Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. Yes, Texas. Beto's going to lose by a safe margin. It will be glorious. Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Iowa, and I do believe that Ohio will be safe red as well. If Renacci wins the nomination with DeWine, it could get a little bit closer, but they both will likely win with just vastly different coalitions. But if you're in the primary, please vote for Renacci, get rid of DeWine. Hopefully Trump endorses Renacci as well. So already 20-10, obviously we cannot forget Vermont and New Hampshire as well, because those are likely going to be safe Republican. Vermont is a safe blue state, one of the bluest states in the country, but for some reason they like their Republican governors that also happen to be like to the left of Joe Biden. So if Phil Scott runs again, which I believe he will, it will likely be safe Republican. Same thing with Chris Sununu in New Hampshire, although Sununu is slightly more conservative, obviously, than other Northeastern Republican governors. And also, we can't forget Alaska. I know it's down there in the left corner, but you can't forget it. So now we'll move on to the likely Democrat seats here. Oregon, not really a popular governor in Kate Brown. I could easily see this one being within 10, but it still is going to go Democrat, probably by around 8 points or so if Republicans can yield a decent challenger to whoever is the successor of Kate Brown in Oregon. Illinois, this one could be safe or it could be likely. I'll put it as likely because of the national environment and because Pritzker is not the most popular candidate, but still will likely win by close to 10 at the end of the day. A similar thing in the state of Connecticut, where Lamont actually almost lost in 2018, which was a very favorable Democrat year. So it's possible that with the right challenger, it could get close again. Rhode Island, the current Democratic governor, his name recognition is not super high. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know who the Republican is going to be, but for Rhode Island, we'll put that as likely Dem for now. Could easily move to safe, though. Maryland as well will put as likely Democrat. If Hogan's lieutenant governor runs, it could get within 10, in my opinion, if that is who the nominee is. If not, it's probably going to be safe Democrat. We'll just have to wait and see. Colorado, cannot forget about Colorado. Polis, he is doing everything he can to pivot to the center in attempt to garner independent support. Is it really what he believes? Probably not, obviously, but still, it's evident that he is likely going to win re-election just because Colorado is not the state that it was 10 to 15 years ago, sadly. So we'll put that one as likely Democrat. Also, now let's move on to the likely Republican states. We'll start off with Florida. Ron DeSantis, extremely popular. If Nikki Fried's the Democratic nominee, you can move Florida to safe immediately. But DeSantis, very popular governor, one of the best governors in the nation. Florida's a state that's been moving to the right lately. A lot of conservatives have been moving there recently. It's probably going to stay Republican by 7+ points or so, if not by a wider margin. Kansas as well, this will be a flip. Laura Kelly is not super popular, and she is a Democratic governor in Kansas that is awaiting a red wave environment. It's not going to be very fun. You have Derek Schmidt, the Attorney General. He's running against her. Solid candidate. That should be an easy flip. Same thing with Wisconsin, actually. I think Evers is more vulnerable than people give him credit for. Wisconsin is a state where Republicans have a lot of room to grow. Evers barely won in 2018 over Scott Walker. His tenure has been an absolute train wreck. Handled the Kenosha trial poorly, handled the Kenosha riots poorly, handled the Waukesha incident very poorly, in my opinion. Shouldn't be difficult for Republicans to beat him in Wisconsin. We'll make it likely Republican for now. I believe that Evers will run ahead of the Democratic Senate nominee by a couple of points or so, but it's not going to matter. It's likely closer to lean as of right now in Wisconsin. So let's move on to the lean Democrat states. Maine is the only one that I have right here. And the reason why I believe Maine is lean Democrat instead of likely is mainly because of the fact that you have a Republican former governor that is running. Was he the most popular? No, but he won 2 terms, mainly because of a strong third party. And people are going to say, well, what if the third party's not here this time? Even so, in some polls, he's doing very well. So this one could easily be moved into tilt Democrat or maybe even tilt Republican at the end of the day. Paul LePage is awesome. I mean, that guy was Trump before Trump on like steroids up in Maine. And I don't know really what the true reelection prospects of Janet Mills are. She's got a lot of people angry at her, but is it enough in a state like Maine? Not entirely sure, but it's probably going to be close. I'd say as of right now, Mills would win by like a Clinton 2016 margin up in Maine, but it's just too early to tell. So lean Republican states, we'll start off with Georgia. Stacey Abrams is likely going to be the Democratic nominee. However, Republicans are going to have their contested primary, Kemp or Perdue. Now, personally, I believe Perdue is going to gain steam as the election process goes on, mainly because a lot of people will realize the fact that Kemp is a little bit less electable because of the fact that Trump's base despises him for a number of reasons, whether it is how he handled the post-2020 process or even the pre-2020 process, I should say, or how he handled refugee resettlement and pertains to Afghanistan. That's how he earned the nickname Kabul Kemp from myself, obviously, and others. I really believe that Georgia, this is a state where Republicans, they've been losing ground. I think that this might be the last hurrah, maybe even 2024 if Biden's approval stays tanking. If he loses some more ground in the suburbs, it's possible it goes red at the presidential level. But 2022, a red wave environment, Perdue will probably be the nominee. I'll say he'll win by like 3 or 4. If Kemp is the nominee, I think it would be a lot closer because of the protest vote from a lot of Trump supporters. And Trump even joked about endorsing Stacey Abrams, which I thought was hilarious. I don't really know if Trump would go through with that, but he definitely wouldn't be out there supporting Brian Kemp enthusiastically, nor should he, by the way. In Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, she's going to be on her way out. The way that she handled the lockdowns has really angered so many people in the rural areas that even if she managed to be relatively less polarizing and even like popular in some areas in 2018, it doesn't necessarily mean that she stayed popular for long, especially after what happened in early 2020, the hypocrisy that she's been called out for. She's really fallen out of favor, and even if the lockdowns were popular early on, according to certain polling, they most certainly aren't right now. And she has a lot of baggage at the moment. And you're talking about her going up against somebody like Craig or an anti-lockdown businessman that could be running. There's several candidates in the race. Craig is probably the front runner as of right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I think Craig will do very well in the Detroit metro area. I think he'll do well in West Michigan as well. And the rural areas will turn out and vote against Whitmer mainly, to the point where Michigan is probably going to flip at the governorship level, and they'll have a Republican governor once again, probably a real Republican governor for the first time since like the early 2000s. So there you go. Now, in regards to Nevada, this is another state I believe will be lean Republican in the state of Nevada, mainly because of the fact that we talk about it so much. The Reid machine is gone. Look at the trends. Look at the demography of Nevada compared to even a place like Arizona. You have a larger share of the electorate that is, white and working class compared to what you see in Phoenix in regards to Las Vegas, and the fact that Clark County is moving to the right. This is a base election. You have to turn out the base. Republicans in a strong national environment are probably going to do so. Who's the Republican nominee going to be? I don't know. It possibly could be Joe Lombardo. I just hope it's not Dean Heller. I'm open to one of the lesser popular candidates that's probably better on the issues than Lombardo overall. But Lombardo, as of right now, is the favored nominee. We'll see who Trump endorses. I think Nevada's going to go Republican by like 3 or 4. Sisolak's going to be on his way out, especially very similar thing to Michigan in regards to the anger after the lockdowns. And anger is what turns out voters in a midterm year. Both of these states are going to flip at the governorship level. We almost forgot about Arizona. Arizona, I'm going to put that in the likely Republican column. Phenomenal candidate in Kari Lake will be going up against horrible candidate in Katie Hobbs. And it's going to be very interesting and entertaining to watch this unfold, especially as you have all of the neocons that will say, Arizona, you need to run the most establishment candidate to win, and they are going to be proven false. Once again, it's going to be pretty funny. It's going to be very similar to the 2010 race where they said literally the same thing when populist Jan Brewer beat a better candidate than Katie Hobbs by much more than a likely margin, by the way. But either way, I think this could end up being safe at the end of the day. That's how bad Katie Hobbs is. That's how inspirational Kari Lake is. She's drawing crowds of tens of thousands of people in a governor's primary in Arizona, nonetheless. Arizona Republican voters very angry after 2020. They're going to turn out in large numbers. Democrats demoralized. Kari Lake's going to accelerate some of those trends to the right in South Phoenix as well at the end of the day, and possibly add on some of those independent voters in eastern Maricopa County who may have been put off by Trump's tone, but happen to like his policies. So 30-17, we have 3 states to go. Minnesota, I'm going to put in the tilt Democrat column. Now, mainly because Republicans have not won a statewide election in Minnesota since 2006, and that's really because Tim Pawlenty was like a popular centrist or whatever. And honestly, I don't see Republicans picking off the governorship with Tim Walz, although a lot of polls have it close. Now, I do believe that they're going to get it close. I think that Tim Walz is going to end up winning by like less than 2 points, very similar to Clinton's victory in 2016 in Minnesota. And I do think Republicans might win like the Attorney General's race because of the national environment, but I still believe that those suburbs are just too hard to crack in regards to Minnesota. And I don't see a candidate at the governorship level that's going to energize the rural base. So there you go. 30-18. Now there's 2 left. We'll move on to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has 2 solid candidates running on the Republican side. You have Barletta and you have Mastriano. Now, looking at this race, they're probably going to be up against Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro beat a no-name Republican by 3 points who had virtually no funding in 2020, literally. This guy's not an electoral juggernaut at all. In fact, he's very overrated, kind of similar to Mark Brnovich down in Arizona. Honestly, I do believe that you look at the Republican candidates, those are the candidates that are going to turn out the Trump base in a midterm. Therefore, Pennsylvania, I'm going to put in the lean Republican column, lean closer to tilt. New Mexico, Mark Ronchetti up against Grisham. Grisham's been tanking in popularity recently. Mark Ronchetti did very well in the 2020 election. That Senate race was actually closer than Maine's Senate race, which a lot of people said was likely Democrat at the time. Very interesting to laugh at how abysmal these polls are. But New Mexico, I think Ronchetti's going to flip it 32-18. There's your map right here. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.